In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a mesh integration system base for someone with total alopecia. So first things first, we've got to make the lace stable. So I've got here some double-sided tape, and this is Walker's double-sided tape. I really like this type of double-sided tape because it's just so easy to apply. They come in strips, and you literally are going to cut it in half. Now, you can actually make it into a smaller strip if you wanted to, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to just use the 2 strips as I've got there. So now what you want to do is you want to unpeel the blue side of it, because it's the blue side that you're going to stick onto the lace itself, and you're going to stick that just underneath the lace. So you're going to put it right at the edge of the lace in the front. And yeah, you're just going to make sure that it's close up and personal to the front, minding your fingers, making sure that you are not sticking the tape onto yourself. And you're going to put it into 2 places, just at the front area for now. You're just going to put it into 2 places. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. As you can see here, I am taking off the blue portion and I'm sticking the sticky side onto the lace in front. And as you can see now, the purpose of it is that you want to get that front bit as flush as possible to the client's scalp. You want to make it so that there are no gaps. And this is the reason why we are doing the front first, because we want to make sure that lies down exactly how you want it. And you just go ahead and peel off the other side, which is the white side. Just be careful not to peel the portion off from the lace. Like I said, that you can make it smaller than I've done, but for the purpose of this video, I've just made it this big. So you want to place your first one down. And then you want to stretch the lace here. Like I've used a very fine lace. You can use thicker laces if you choose, because the thicker they are, the more robust you are. But I'm using very fine lace because the wefts that I'm going to apply, and they're going to be very, very thin wefts. And again, you just stretch it just so that it lies flush on the scalp. And there you go. As you can see there, that front is lying flush on the scalp. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is actually lay down the back. So again, the size of the lace that you're going to use is dependent on the size of the system that you're trying to create. So a bigger system, you're going to need more than what I've got here. You're just going to lay it down. And again, you want to put a little bit of tension. And the reason why you want to put a little bit of tension is because regardless of the fact that the wefts themselves and the closure themselves are not that heavy, when you've got like 100 grams, 200 grams on someone's head, then, you know, it can pull on the actual lace itself. So you want to make sure that it's flush to give it the tautness that it needs. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and I've just done exactly the same process I did in the front. I'm doing that now at the back. And again, just putting a gap between them. And as you know, this is the client's head, so you're going to do it and mold it specifically for the shape of the client itself, depending on how big or how small you want that system to be. I can't emphasize how important it is to stretch the lace to make sure that it's flush. And again, just as you made sure that the front was flush against the scalp in the front, you want to make sure that the back is flush against the scalp at the back. Just give it that little bit of tension, and there you go. So now what we're going to do is do the sides. And obviously, as you can see, the sides are a bit flappy. So we're going to have to do something that we call contouring. I'm just going to show you how we're going to contour. So you want to make sure that when you're contouring that, again, you go with the same instruction as I gave before, because you want the edges to be flush as well. You don't want anything that's poking up. So you can see the edge of the actual lace system and making it flush. And that's why you want to make sure that when you contour it, you're contouring inwards, not outwards, but contouring inwards on both edges. You almost want to make it like crossover. Because once they've crossed over, as you can see here, I'm crossing it over. As you can see there, I've crossed it over. And you can see how flush it is at the sides. And there's a close-up view. Now you're going to get your needle and thread and you're just going to start sewing. Now I have a specific way in which I sew, and I use this method for everything that I'm doing. It's very simple. You just place the needle in, you put the thread over the needle, and then you pull it out. Just make sure you get rid of any loops. Sometimes a loop can form. There you go, that's number one. And then you just do the same process again. And what you're doing is you're pulling the needle in just at the point where the contour is. And that is holding the contour in place. It does take some getting used to get to know how to do this perfectly, but with practice, you'll be fine. I'm just going to show you that very slow motion so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Put it through. We always use the curved needle because of the fact that you are going against the client's scalp, and a curved needle ensures that you're not poking their scalp. If you're using a straight needle, it's going to be a lot harder and you could run into problems. So I always recommend that you use a curved needle when you are doing anything on a client's head. And it's just the repeat action all the way through. And as you can see now, it's all starting to come together. Just be mindful of the edges. Be mindful to make sure that there are no gaps. And there you go. I'm bringing in the back portion of it. You can see it's that overlap, pushing that through. As you can see, it's the crisscross. And then you just start to incorporate that also into your sewing. You can see, making sure it's flush. The key thing is that it's flush. I always like to use the sides because this is where the ears are. And you're going to have less sewing when you do it this way as well. Take your time and be careful, because it's important that you get this step right. And you just keep going all the way through till you get to the end. Always constantly check in and making sure that you've got that flushness. If you feel like you need to put some tape just to make sure that the base is not moving, then you can do. As you can see here, the base has kind of, as you can see here, there's a gap. That's why it's important to always have that tension. Always have that tension. Without the tension, you will find you'll have gaps. And without the tension, you'll find that the base of the system is not going to be strong enough to hold what you're going to be applying to it. And finally, what you want to do is sew the edge. As you can see here, what I'm doing now is I'm sewing the edge, because this is the portion and this is the point at which we're going to actually cut. And you want to make sure that that is secure. So I'm going in again, using the exact same motion that I used to sew. So as you can see, I put the needle in, put the thread over, pull it through, do it again, put the needle in, put the thread over, pull it through, and again, needle in, thread over, pull it through. Same action. I keep doing exactly the same action all the way through as I create that line. When I'm done, you just use a pair of scissors and you're going to actually secure the knot. I like to secure it with at least a couple of knots. just to make sure that it's not going to unravel. There's 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do 1 more, 4. And now I'm just going to cut it as close as possible to the base. Now I'm just going to add an extra piece of double-sided tape just in that section so that it lies exactly where I want it to lie. And again, you just take off the blue bit, place it where, just above where you've created your final row. And here you want to pull it down. As you can see, you're using tension there to pull it down. And you're going to cut off the excess piece. You see how flush that is? That's exactly what you're trying to achieve. Now you do the same at the other side. Exactly the same process as I spoke to you about before. Making that crisscross. You're going to take your thread, and then you're going to take your thread and needle, and again you just start to sew. Very first time you put your needle thing, have you noticed I split the needle? Or I split the thread and put that through. You only need to do that once in that way. And that's because you're trying to get the actual thread onto the base of the system. Everything after then is you will gather the 2 strands of the thread. As you can see here, the 2 strands of the thread, and you put that through. As I said before, you only split the needle, you only split the thread once. That's at the very beginning. After that, you do not split the thread. You see here, the needle's gone through. I've not split the thread. I've put it over the needle and I've put it out. So if you're a little bit lost about what I've said, go back and just re-watch that section where I put the needle in for the first time and see how I actually do it. And that will show you exactly what I was talking about. You're going to do this all the way through. Again, making sure that everything is flush, and look at the finished results. And that's the back, that's the top, that's the sides, and that's the front. Now it's just ready for the wefts and the top piece to be installed.